Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Pregame show presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Ryan Herrera, Cody Del Mendo, Luke Stuckmeyer getting you ready for Cubs and Marlins. Guys, 16 games to go here in the season. The push, here's what I'm thinking. We all watched the Bears last night, right? You know, we're Chicago.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I put that shit on my TV and watched it, yes.
Not only that, Cody, I got a little bit of your, buying into the Kool-Aid stuff. And I thought, well, sooner or later, they got to beat the Packers in Green Bay. It's got to last second. I get the PointsBet app up at home. I go and press.
Oh, you got it to work.
Got it to work.
You took the money line last night?
Bears money line.
Oh,
don't tell me you put all 50 on it.
I put 10 on it to win 40.
Yeah.
Oh man,
they were huge dogs.
Come on, all day I was thinking about it. I'm like, this is stupid. Why would anybody bet the Bears, let alone even the spread? They're going to get killed like they always do. And then for some reason, my whole head flipped, and I did it. So I figured the only way we can get out of this Bears Blues on Monday is the quest for 63. The quest for 63. One more win to avoid 100 losses for the Cubs. They haven't done it. But they could go 1-15. They could go 1-15. Why not tonight? Why not tonight? The question is, when or if they get to 63, should we celebrate this? And if so, how should we celebrate this?
Pop the champagne, man. Pop the champagne. Get the
plastic.
Going.
We make our houses look like Dexter. We put up plastic sheets behind us.
It's just like we're in the dugout, just like spraying the champagne all over the place. Yes. Or not, clubhouse, man.
I'm open to all ideas because I got nothing. I tried to will a win into existence yesterday. Instead, Javier Assad, the ass man, as Luke calls him, coming off the great start in New York, can't even go 3, walks the bases loaded in the first inning. Rocky scored 3 runs, and it was just yesterday was, at least the sun was out. That was the positive of yesterday at Wrigley Field. So
the sun was out. You were there, right?
The sun was out. I was there. I went with. I didn't plan on going, but then a buddy of mine who actually has been living in Mexico for the last, 5 to 6 years was back home and in Chicago, and he hit me up, and we went to the game. And he brought his wife, who's from Mexico, and she had never been to Wrigley before, obviously, because she's from Mexico. And so at least I got to introduce Wrigley Field to some new people. They're actually moving to Chicago sometime in the next 2-3 months. So gave them a nice little introduction to, one of the great ballparks in Major League Baseball. So
there you go.
Very cool. Did you guys get to meet Cookie Monster or not? Was there...
No. I thought they were supposed to be giving out the Cookie Monster bobblehead or something of that sort.
And I think you had to pay extra for that. Like that was like a special deal.
We got
come on, are you serious? They had to pay extra for the bobblehead as if the tickets to the game weren't enough to see this team. Like, listen, right. I defend a lot of stuff that goes on there, but if you're making fans pay extra for a Cookie Monster bobblehead, I think you've crossed the line.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I was trying to figure out why we couldn't get one. They did give us a free travel bag thing sponsored by American Airlines. But other than that,
there's your payment for going to the game. You don't need the Cookie Monster. You don't need the Cookie Monster bobblehead. You just get a free little tote bag.
That said, me and her went for a total of $37, and that was even after taxes. So it was really cheap to go yesterday. Probably because it was Sunday and football's on. That's what I believe it was very nice yesterday. Weather was beautiful.
Can't believe people aren't paying top dollar to watch the 63rd win of the year, to watch them avoid 100.
I know it would have been a big time, game to be at. We got this team out here trying really hard to, win games, and it's just been coming up short 83 times this year, or 84. I don't know at this point. Like it's just been really, really hard to get to this moment. And you'd think people would want to be there to see it, man.
No, I'm with you.
I mean, I don't know. It's tough when there's NFL football on. Because the weather was beautiful, I could see going out there and enjoying the afternoon, and the Bears weren't on until nighttime. But it's tough when the NFL's on, because there were still good games yesterday afternoon to watch. But it is, it's also a time when you could use the Game Time app and like get a really killer seat too. Like, because there's so many open seats, there's a lot left on there. The deals are going to be better than ever if you're trying to find a great seat. Game
Time's gone, man. I did look at Game Time yesterday just to see what it was at, and Cody's not wrong. Like, you could have walked up to the door and like bought them for pennies compared to what like you'd usually do in a different season.
I did get my friends to use the Game Time app, and they used that link that's in our YouTube description. I did get them to use that. So
satisfied customers, I assume.
So, yeah, they were. I mean, again, we sat in left field, so like sit wherever you want, and they were like a little surprised you could do that to begin with. Like they were already impressed, and then the fact that we had beautiful weather and good vibes, despite how long it's been taken to get to 63 wins. I mean, we're
62 wins, Cody. To get to 62 wins. We're not to 63 yet.
How long it's been taken. I'm not trying to jinx it. I'm just saying I'm trying to manifest it at this point. No, they were very satisfied with the Game Time app. I highly recommend it for everyone.
So I saw that the beat reporters were all told that Keegan Thompson's coming back. He is going to pitch again this season and out of the bullpen. What do you think of that move? Because again, we've kind of bounced around the idea of a lot of guys. For 100%, I don't want Nico to touch the field again, especially after, the MRI came back. I guess Keegan Thompson's the one that I'm somewhat okay with. Like if he's 100% healthy, I'm just a little confused. Like if he's healthy, then why put him in the bullpen?
I would think it's just to manage his innings.
Yeah.
Make sure he's not trying to go out there throwing 6, 7. I mean, yeah, that's what you want. If he's going to be a starter, he's got to be able to throw 6 to 7 innings, especially at this time of year if you're like in the playoff hunt. But he's also like far surpassed. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know this is like the most he's pitched in a season in his career, or he's at least if he's not like close to it, he's well surpassed. It's like in that. Like, I'm pretty sure he passed it a while ago. But I would have to just pull up the number real quick.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I mean, he's been down for a while. Like, he's been off on the shelf for a while. So I know around that point when like Justin Steele first got hurt back when they were in Milwaukee, I know they were like relatively close to whatever it is, but I can't remember where Keegan was at. But I know like it's, again, just he's pitched a lot more than he has, and like especially any season, especially way more than last season. So I understand the bullpen as far as just like, more controlling the situations he's in and the innings and the pitch count and all that kind of stuff. But again, I mean, I've kind of been saying this all along with all of those guys, with Keegan, with Justin, with Nico, with Madrigal. Like if they're 100% healthy, you're not risking them re-injuring whatever ailment they had that put them on the IL in the first place. Or well, Nico's obviously not on the IL, but he's been down for about a week now. If they're healthy and they return and they're not at risk for that of re-injuring that, I think you let them play. Obviously you try to control, like you're not going to throw Nico out there every single day if he does come back. Keegan going to the bullpen, I think is a good option as far as controlling him, Steele, keeping him on, if he does return, keeping him on a pitch count or innings limit, whatever it is. It's just, I'll go back to like, I know these guys want to play. They're competitive and they want to finish the season strong and play and help this team win as many games as they can. But it's also not worth rushing them back, risking re-injury. But again, well, in Keegan's situation specifically, We talked to him over the weekend. He said he feels good. Didn't know exactly what the next steps were, but the pain wasn't there, the low back, the issues, like he felt recovered. And so if I have been of the, the idea that if he wants to play again without risking re-injuring himself, let him play, let him pitch. Yeah, that's just me. I know these guys want to finish the season on their own terms, and that is good. I guess experience or there's benefit in that for young guys like that. Really first full season in the big leagues, just letting them get to the finish line on their own terms. So as long as they're not risking injury, you're not rushing them back. Like if they want to play, I don't think it's, I see the benefit. I see your side, Luke. Obviously I know like with Nico, especially, you don't necessarily want to see him play.
Totally
again,
unnecessary.
but I see the other side of it too.
I listened to Corey and Brendan last night, and they were just saying like, and I believe what they say is totally true here. Like, you're not going to learn in these last 16 games, you're not going to learn anything that is going to impact your off season specifically. Like, Keegan's not going to come out and have 2 bullpen outings and you're going to say, okay, 100%, we're going to use him in the bullpen next year. I don't think that'll be decided until the spring. And it's also not going to impact whether or not they go out and sign Carlos Rodon, right? Like, they have to go out and look for starters, whether they've made up their mind on some of these guys anyways. But it does add to the resume of things that they've done. And mentally, like you're saying, Ryan, like individually, it means more to the players than it does to the portfolio of what we've learned about each guy this year. Because I've learned a lot about Keegan Thompson. He's way better than I thought he was.
Yeah, and I think a good example is Adbert, obviously reactivated Saturday. We talked to him on Friday. And I mean, it's been so long. He didn't pitch the entire season, 6 months, something like that. He was down in Arizona rehabbing and recovering. And there's only 3.5 or so weeks left in the season. Very easily could have just shut him down or let him pitch in AAA, even more of a controlled kind of environment for him. That's what they could have done. But we talked to him and he said, I don't care, kind of paraphrasing, of course, like he didn't care what role he was coming back in. Like his main goal the entire time he was down in Arizona trying to recover was to be able to pitch in a major league game again this season, whether that was coming out of the bullpen, which he is. If they tried to throw him into the rotation to start a couple times, he was more than okay going into the bullpen for just the rest of the year, just coming out of the bullpen, being a reliever, because he just wanted to pitch again. He just wanted to pitch in a major league game, pitch with a Cubs uniform on. And again, I see the benefit in that. If he wasn't fully recovered all season either, then I would be on the side of, he's been down all year. He's still not 100%. There's no reason to, force him back onto the mound in the last 3 weeks. Like, just let him get to the off season where he can be fully healthy that way. But obviously he was healthy enough that they reactivated him, and he's going to finish, hopefully finish out the season with, last 3 weeks healthy and then go into the off season. I see it the same way with some of these other guys, Keegan, Justin, Nico, Madrigal. If they're there and they're healthy and they're 100% and they want to play, like I don't see. I think there's benefit to it. Again, I'm going to say that again. There's benefit to that. Yeah, you don't want them to get hurt again, obviously. But if they're itching to play, control it, but let them play.
I think Adbert's a little bit different from Thompson because he just hasn't played all season. Yeah. And like, say they didn't play him. Say they did the Luke route and they didn't play him. Like they said that he was healthy, but they're just going to shut him down. Like, we as fans, and I guess even people in the role of like Ryan would perhaps. You just wouldn't know what you'd be getting out of him going into next year. And I know that the net last 16 games aren't going to matter, but I think if you can get him out here for some innings and he shows that he's healthy, then I think, and he's good. Like, I think you could go into next season with him at least as a reliever and feel good about that. And I feel like I'd probably still feel that way if he didn't pitch, but again, his situation is just different because he just hasn't pitched all season. So to me, like, his makes more sense. Thompson, again, I think I said a few weeks ago, I'd love to see him come back just to see him get to the end of the year. He's just healthy all season until, last month or whatever it was. And I still don't really know if it was a real injury or if they were just shutting him down because of innings. It never was like.
It was an injury.
Well, okay, whatever. If it whatever, no one
if it wasn't, that's okay too.
I've asked, and no one's confirmed it with me. All right, so and I guess that's me being a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
But whatever. We were all clamoring to say, or all not clamoring, but we were all saying that because he was coming off 2 bad outings anyway as a starter.
Yeah.
We were all starting to wonder, should they shut him down? He had a bad start, and then literally the next day they put him on the IL. So that's why since he went down, I've always just assumed it had to do with an innings limit, or if he was, hurt, whatever. It wasn't necessarily a bad thing to me that they put him on the IL just because this was the most he had ever pitched in his major league. So I guess, like I said, because of all that, all those things considered, I'm glad he's coming back just so he can finish the season. Hopefully he looks a bit more fresh and can give the Cubs some good innings out of the bullpen where, as good as he was as a starter at points this year, he was even better in the bullpen. So, whatever the Cubs do in free agency, trade, whatever, if Thompson goes back to being like he was in the bullpen and you got Alzolay being good in the bullpen as well, that's 2 weapons right there that you can go into next year and feel really good about. I'm still someone who thinks maybe he could be your 4th or 5th starter. But I also know he was really good out of the bullpen as a multi-inning reliever too. And that's very valuable in today's modern game. So that's how I feel about both those guys.
I think Wesneski's kind of the same thing. I could see any of those 3 or 2 of those 3 be in the rotation, but I could also see all 3 of them being absolute weapons in the bullpen, And I wouldn't be surprised if Wesneski, despite how great his outing was, starts next season in the bullpen in that same way that they just used Steele and Thompson this year, kind of ease him in again early in the season. Now, maybe he's already doing that. But what you were saying about Alzolay, I agree 100%. He needs to pitch. And then the pitch doctor's pointing out that he changed what he was throwing. He wasn't even throwing the same stuff. It was like a different pitcher was out there. So,
that first inning Alzolay had on Saturday was amazing, right? He struck out the side. And then the second inning didn't go so well. And, of course, Charlie Blackmon, a lefty, is the one who beats him. That allows the Rockies to take the lead. So for me personally, when Blackmon was up and knowing he's a lefty and knowing the struggles that Abbott has had against lefties in his career, I did not feel great. So all that said though, to me, it's more of another opportunity for him to try and get better with that situation. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be able to consistently get lefties out, but he definitely needs to find a way to do it better.
Right. Well, I mean, they were pointing out that, he's normally sinker slider and he was a lot of 4-seamers this time. Okay, if you're working on creating different pitches, a curveball, whatever it might be, this is the time to do it. This in spring training, go ahead and then take that into your off season. And if you think the 4-seam is something that can get left-handers out where maybe you didn't have that before because the sliders were playing to them. I don't know. Go ahead, work on it. Go ahead and use a couple outings here at the end of the season. And it sounds like David Ross told reporters that he does think Wesneski will get another start here before the end of the season. So I want to see that too, because he was a little bit of a roller coaster. He's been real good, then not good, then great. So
he was really good on Saturday.
He was.
He was. And then when we talk about Adbert or Keegan, I think just what they've shown, and especially Adbert, if he could be I think if minimum or floor. If a floor is a 2-inning multi-inning, 2-inning, 3-inning, whatever reliever, where most of the guys you're facing are righties, and you pick your pockets that way. I think that's a good floor for him. I mean, you want him to be better. I mean, if he could be a part, if he throws himself, has a great spring training and throws himself into the conversation for the rotation, that's you'd love that for Adbert. But if at minimum he's a really good multi-inning guy, I mean, I think you take that. And same with Keegan. If Keegan, he obviously dominated out of the bullpen. this year. Didn't have as good as have good a time as a starter as he did when he was coming out of the bullpen. So you still are trying to see what he can bring there. But again, if his floors are really what he showed as a bullpen guy early in the season, like that's good too. Like those aren't bad things, and I think both of them understand that. Especially Adbert, like he was very. It was very refreshing to hear him talk about it on Friday, like knowing like he doesn't know if he's going to be in the rotation next year, but if he could be a multi-inning guy and can pitch every 2 or 3 games instead of every 5, like that's that he doesn't have a problem with that either. Like he obviously, I mean, and no player is going to say they're focused on themselves over winning. Like Adbert, same way, like he said, it's all about what's going to help the team win. But I mean, that's just kind of. If Adbert's fine with that, and if that's the floor for him is a guy you could bring out and trust to get a couple innings, I think you'd like that. But again, like you said, Luke, like this last stretch of the season for Adbert, like this is a time to just kind of work on some things because I mean, if you really think about it, this is like his spring training. He didn't have one. He was hurt as soon as we got to spring training, so this is kind of like that time where he can mess around with some things. Cubs are out of it, like they're not playing for a playoff spot. I think they got eliminated officially over the weekend, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Which we never talked about.
For some reason, the MLB Twitter account had them in like their World Series odds graphic today, which cracked me up.
Really?
They did. Yeah, you go find it.
The odds are not good.
They're not. They're eliminated, but they're on the graphic. It's like we're in the Hunt graphic. If you're a Bears fan, you know what I mean.
Well, either way, yeah. This is the time to do it. Like time to just work on some things. Obviously, and no one's him having any rough patches during a game the rest of the season. Like that's not going to change anyone's idea of who Adbert Alzolay can be. Same with like if he has a few great starts or a few great outings. Like yeah, you like that. But it's just really small sample. You want him to have work on some more things in the what he does his last couple weeks isn't really going to change your idea of who Adbert Alzolay can be. So
I think we all just want him to be healthy.
That's the whole thing, and it seems that way. It seems that way, and if obviously again controlling his innings and controlling the situations you put him in, like that's number one too. That's the number one priority is you got him back. You got him back. He's able to say he pitched. He's healthy. He pitched in a major league game at the end of the season. Good. Now the priority is making sure he gets it to the end of the season, goes into the off season healthy, and it again makes up for a lot of time that he missed this last 6 months trying to recover. Like this is the time. That's like 6 months of development, really. Like he's only he debuted in like 19, had the short 20 season. Last season was really his first full season in the big leagues, and then like pretty much lost this whole season. So it's still development. It's still development. So this is the time for him to really get kind of cracking and kind of locking down who he's going to be as a pitcher in the big leagues.
David, Glenn, Rhonda, see a lot of comments coming up in the chat. We'll get to a couple of those in a second. Cody, how do you watch tonight and what kind of action do you have going? Because you got Monday Night Football and the Cubs at the same time, and I know you're going to be slightly distracted.
Well, you watched me do it last Monday, Luke, in the office. I actually have the TV right behind me. I'll have the Cubs game there.
Yeah.
And then I have a TV right here on my desk, too, where I will probably have Monday Night Football on. And I'll probably just sit here and just, yeah.
and then point bet on your phone or on your laptop. Which one?
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling good. I'm also going to be on CHGO Bears After Dark tonight.
Oh, man.
Talk about what I'm betting on tonight's game. Everyone should go check out that show, not only for me, because I'm only going to be on there for like 5 or 10 minutes, but because of everyone else that's part of it.
Show's great.
What time is the After Dark show?
I want to say it's at 6 or 7. It's right. It's before the first Monday Night Football game. It's
6 p.m.
soon.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Thank you, Joey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Got a quick shot at Joey's ceiling, and we're back.
Yes. So, yeah, man. I will give my bets there. I do want to say, though, that I am red hot. I lost 3 bets yesterday, and I bet on every single NFL game yesterday. So, that's all I need to say. Yeah.
I was just hoping the Bears covered yesterday.
They did not.
It was very
annoying.
I didn't drink the Kool-Aid that Luke drank. I was never convinced they'd beat them, but I'm like 10.5, they could do that. And I don't want to talk about it. But if that's
Fields
called a
gets in,
touchdown, they cover.
Yeah, they would have covered if he gets in, which he,
it's not
in
even
my opinion, he was. But whatever.
It's not even if he got in; it's if they called it the right way.
Yeah.
Yes,
covered.
exactly.
I think they still would have lost, but it would have been a lot more fun.
Oh, yeah. There's your conspiracy, Cody.
I probably wouldn't be as sad today. The Sunday scaries wouldn't have been as bad. You know what I mean? But again, PointsBet, guys. This football season, PointsBet is bringing you a better way to bet live on games, which means before this ad is over, you can place a live same game parlay, bet on the next drive to be a touchdown, and cash out your live second half over bet. With PointsBet, you have access to more live football markets than ever before. Build the perfect live same game parlay by combining your favorite bets anytime during the game, including spreads, totals, player props, and more. Choose the outcome of the next drive and next points with PointsBet Lightning Bets. So whether you are on the move or on the couch, do it live on PointsBet. Download the PointsBet app today and sign up with code CHGO to get your first 2 bets risk-free up to $2,000. If you're somebody you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services. With that said, I had a $2 free bet in my account today from the PointsBet Power Hour. So I'm assuming everyone else does too. It was actually in my account yesterday. It was just basically for this week's NFL slate. So check your accounts and you might have a free bet as well to bet on tonight's game. Because if you don't use it tonight, it'll probably be gone tomorrow.
Disappears.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to drive me to the app tonight.
And you're not in the office, so the app will work, Stucky.
That's right. For some odd reason, I don't know what that is. It's why
it never wants to load.
Wi-Fi. It's our Wi-Fi at work. That's what it is. It's got nothing to do with the app. David, I saw earlier in the chat was saying, why does the offense stink so bad since the second half? Well, take a look at the lineup for tonight, and David, there's your answer.
Great transition.
I don't want to be too blunt about it, but McKinstry's leading off. He's been good, but when you go 1 through 9. Really only Happ and Morrell, you could say, are starters for most of the season, right? Gomes is the backup catcher. Reyes hasn't been here. Higgins hasn't been here. Bodie hasn't been here. Velasquez has been a part-time player. Hermosillo has been a part-time player. McKinstry hasn't been here. So he's playing a lot of guys that are not everyday major league players right now. So that's why the offense is struggling, because there aren't big bats. And the days of Rizzo, Bryant, and again, I'm not saying that was the way to go. I'm just saying that's where you are right now. So, and there's still something to learn from some of these guys. And I've seen a lot of comments about Frank Schwindel. What do you say we table that until post-game, and then we'll pour one out for the Schwindy City in the post-game show? Because you never know if you're going to get a real dud of a game. We'll save some topics for tonight. You look at that lineup, who you got tonight? That is the question. Who you got in that lineup?
Well, last week I took McKinstry twice and went 2-0. So I'm a trends guy. So I'm going to take the guy who's going to get the most at bats tonight, and that's Zach McKinstry. And we'll see. He had a good week last week. I've been a little bit of a defender of him of late. Rightfully so. He's been playing well. So, he also had an almost really nice defensive play. I think it was Saturday in the Wesneski start.
Yes.
He had a really nice defensive play. They didn't make the out, but the stop, the effort was there. So a lot of people, and I only mention that because I know a lot of people in the chat sometimes will talk about how he can't play defense. I don't. That was a great play. Yeah, I don't necessarily know if I like him at third that much, but I do like him up the middle. He's played good defense up the middle, in my opinion. So.
Can I change my who you got?
I think I know where you. Okay, go ahead. The game hasn't started.
I'm switching over. It says Franmil, but I'm gonna switch over to Jan Gomes.
You're switching to Gomes, trying to build on.
You had a homer yesterday.
Over his last 12 games, he's hitting 366 with a 947 OPS.
Huh.
He's on kind of a.
That
hot
was
stretch.
Joey's guy. That was
Joey's
guy for a
while.
Joey's taking Bodie.
Yeah, I know.
Ryan felt salty about when I stole the win from him off my literal prophecy. I saw it in the future. Jan Gomes 2-run shot.
I'm not salty. I'm pissed.
I was clairvoyant that day.
What's the difference?
Well, maybe. Hey, Joey, you have Bodie, but now Franmil is open if you'd like to switch.
We will stay
with that.
Bodie.
Let me tell you what
We
that's
are staying with Bodie.
He said
Staying
Bodie
with
back.
Bodie.
There's a reason for everything, Luke.
Well, Ronda already took Reyes anyway. Ronda's on Reyes.
Yeah.
So.
Ronda's
All
on
right,
Reyes.
the picks are in. I'm going with Happer. The picks are in. We're all locked in. And now I will point out that none of us took Wade Miley, who has a 1.58 ERA in his career against the Marlins in 7 starts. I can't take him. I'm stunned you guys didn't take him.
I'm surprised. Well, I know you can't take him, Luke, but I'm surprised you didn't text me and be like, hey, can I take this guy? Because you know how much the reasoning why I like Wade Miley. He makes games go by quick. You know what I mean?
We should let Luke take Miley on days that he pitches.
I feel like Miley can be the only one.
Miley's okay because doesn't matter if I ruin him.
Do you want
Miley is Luke's brand.
No, the picks are in. It's locked in.
You can, still got time. Still got.
I don't want to switch. I don't want the buyer's remorse. I don't want to. Oh, what a
now Wade Miley is going to shove 8 innings in this game.
He probably is, but I use the words.
Good to us
the picks have been locked in the vault. That's it.
Fair enough.
They're in the silver suitcases. And Howie Mandel. What was that show called where they would have the supermodels hold the suitcases?
Deal or No Deal.
Deal or No Deal. Yep. And that's the one that what's her name? Married Prince Harry. Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle was one of the suitcase holders.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. See? Stuff I break here on this show. Meghan Markle once held a suitcase on Deal or No Deal with Howie Mandel, who is a germaphobe, by the way.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I knew that. We good? We'll wrap it up. Cubs, Marlins, 16 to go. We'll be back here for a full hour after the game. Hopefully, Rhonda, David, let's see who else was in the chat all today. Steven was there.
Jack Brown was in here for a little bit.
Yeah, Glenn.
He may still be here.
Jack was in early.
Yeah.
He may have taken off on us. It's so nice outside right now. I feel like
I think I'll wear a Hawaiian.
I know. I feel like if I had the Wi-Fi strong enough, I'd go out in the backyard and watch this game.
Turn on the radio.
Yeah, but that's true. All right, cool. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs pregame show presented by PointsBet. Use that promo code CHGO when you sign up. Don't forget, our first NFL tailgate is coming up this Sunday. It's at Michigan and Roosevelt. If you're looking for tickets to that, it's like $34, includes your booze, your beer, a DJ, food. That is at allchgo.com, and just look for that tailgate icon and click on it. Have all the information for you there. We'll see you here after the game. Thanks for watching, and fly the W.